All right, we are at TVLine's Comic-Con studio with the cast and creator of Outlander. Welcome, you guys. Yay! Season 3. So excited. Voyager is my favorite book in the series for the print shop scene alone, but all the stuff that goes on.
What happens in the print shop?
Oh, I know. All right, just tell me everything, and then you don't have to do anything else today, so you're good. But we'll get to that in a second. So in the book, this is very much a story of Claire and Jamie being apart for a long time. You guys shot a lot apart this season, right? And for Jamie, it's a very physical season. Lots of bad physical things happen to him.
When are they not?
I was going to say, how does it compare?
Diana.
How does that compare to the shooting of season 1 for you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, we were kept apart as much as possible. They had us in different rooms. They wouldn't let us talk to each other.
Yeah, they took away our phones.
Our phones, yeah. No, it was obviously at the end of season 2 is pretty much where we pick up season 3, and at the Battle of Culloden, and obviously in the book you don't get to see it, but I think Ron and everyone and the writers were, we wanted to reward the sort of fans and the viewers with that, but we spend a long time apart, and we get to see them both live out their lives separately and trying to move on and move forward without the person that they love, and then eventually Claire does sort of reappear.
Spoiler alert.
And there's a lot of egg white, yeah.
And there's a lot. So let's talk about the egg white since you brought it up.
We better explain that. No, there's we were discussing earlier. There's some vomiting that happens in the show, and we use egg whites for that. And
you vomit.
Only for that.
Right. And Diana, you were saying you get seasick. This is yes. Based on your own experience.
Yes, that's why Jamie responds to water the way that he does.
If you have any experience that is similar to his, I feel so sorry for you, because it's those are rough passages to read, and that sounds like to act as well.
To play as well. Yeah.
Frank is much more fleshed out here. Their time together, it seems, even from the trailer, we see a lot more of them together. It's very easy to be anti-Frank, especially when there's such a great jam. I didn't say I was anti-Frank. I said, but it seems like, especially in the trailer, there's a lot of back and forth in those 20 years in terms of their feelings for each other. Can you guys speak a little bit to that relationship, playing those moments?
Well, it's a relationship of great frustration. Claire has lost the love of her life, but especially in that time, I mean, Frank is in some ways such a generous person. He's accepted that she's been in love with somebody else. He's accepted that she's been away and that she's carrying another man's child. And yet he offers to take her back and raise this child. So it's a very honourable thing he does. And it's so hard for Claire to rise to that occasion and to sort of let go of her past and be able to meet him where he wants to be, in this loving relationship. So it's so fraught with all of this complicated emotion. She can see what a good man he is, but she just can't give him what he needs, and vice versa. And so it's really tragic, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we get a chance in these first 3 episodes of season 3 to sort of peek inside what happens to that marriage and what happens to Frank and Claire in Boston when they move there, and obviously the arrival of Bree, and it was really kind of exciting to both sort of see them age and grow together and also grow apart, and it's the sort of classic kind of Frank and Claire territory of sort of lots of conflicting and complicated emotions, a lot of love, but there's a sort of inherent kind of disconnect there, which they're constantly kind of trying to repair or live around for the sake of various reasons. That sort of imperfect compromised love, which is what that relationship kind of is a meditation on, really.
Yeah.
I think one of the beautiful things in the book is that you see, I mean, they were together for 20 years, so there had to be love there, and there had to be times that they were able to make it work, and they really focused on the rearing of their daughter, and that was one of the things we really wanted to have in the show as well, is that kind of, where have they been able to find compromise, and where have they been able to meet on common ground, it's
find a bit of light and shade.
Yeah. I first read the books when I was in my 20s, and having reread them now that I'm older and have a child, the letter that Claire writes for Brianna, and not only that, the choice to leave your child, knowing you probably will never see that person again, resonated so much more. Is it fleshed out? Is there an actual scene in the show? Is it still a letter? What can you guys tell me about that interaction before Claire goes back?
The sort of, we were talking about this before, weren't we? The kind of mother-daughter role reversal in that scene. So we kind of played it that, you know, Claire's almost a little insecure, that she'll go back and Jamie might have moved on or feel a little differently. So there was kind of, we played that moment, didn't we, where Bree's sort of saying, like, I have to let you go kind of thing. So, yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, there's a couple of really great scenes, you know, between Bree and Claire where there's that relationship has been so fraught for so long, and finally, you know, truth will heal many wounds, and when you're keeping secrets you'll always have a barrier between you, so it's really beautiful to see them finally be able to remove that barrier and see each other properly for the first time. But yeah, it's I think it's a little different in the show, right?
Yeah.
But
it's,
Well, you know,
it's
letter
also,
issue. I mean, you can't just stand there.
So we end up with a conversation. Yeah.
But also, it's not that, you know, it's not, oh, Claire finds out Jamie's still alive and runs away back.
Right.
She's prepared to make that sacrifice for Brianna and say, you know, I will stay.
That investigation also kind of underlies the Roger and Brianna relationship coming together.
Yeah.
What can you tell people who are fans of that relationship in the book? Does it play out similarly? Are there a lot of changes?
Relatively similarly. I mean, their relationship in the book moves quite quickly, doesn't it? You know, they sort of meet and Roger's a little more into it initially than Brianna is, but they still, it moves quite smoothly. I think in the season we've sort of played it a little bit more that kind of every time they do come together, this information brings them together for their love of history, but then equally the same measure, it kind of tears them apart, because I think Roger is a reminder for Brianna, you know, about everything that happened, and I think she just needs that gap to find herself by herself without Roger being a reminder of it. So it's kind of mainly about the Claire-Brianna relationship for a while, isn't it?
Quick speed round to wrap things up. Do we have any scenes set in caves, Mr. Heughan?
I feel like I spent most of last year in a cave. That's my personal life. No, absolutely. There's I think every episode this season is very different, and in their life, you know, we span a long period of time in the show. You know, there's a 20-year period almost, you know, with these two apart. So yeah, Jamie does have very different guises, different places, and one of them may be a man cave.
A man cave. Might he be wearing a dun-colored bonnet in that man cave?
He may be that he can't get all this hair under. So,
Yeah, the picture that was released,
there's a lot of hair going on.
I did see some comments of like, that defeats the purpose.
We did actually try to get try to get the hair under the bonnet. It looked like a Rastafarian. So.
And very quickly, just to wrap up, in the book, Diana, you write that Jamie faints rather gracefully for such a large man when they first come back together. Can you tell me, Caitriona, was it a graceful fall?
He's a rather large man. Did you ever do ballet?
I did, yeah.
I
did, yeah. A couple of times.
Well, there you go. That's your answer.
Fantastic.
I do. I faint in first position.